Hi everyone, welcome back to the Crafty Author. My name is Anissa. I am the Crafty Author. Welcome back to my quilting room. Today we are going to continue working on our Scraptastic Scrap Quilt. So this week what we're going to do is we are going to start cutting out the stripping to border our square. So by now you should already have 48 of these cut out and you should have them all squared up. So I have worked out all of the measurements and all of the fabric yardage that you're going to need for these. Now you're going to need to follow this on my website, so you'll be able to get these measurements at craftyauthor.com. And it is there, and I will also post the link to my website and also put it in the iCard up top on this video so that you can see it there. But I'll go ahead and give you the rough measurements right now. And so here's what you're going to need. You're going to need 48 2x4 dark colored strips. I'm using black. You will need 96 2x2 inch lighter colored squares. I'm using white. You're going to need 48 2x6 darker strips. You will need 48 2x7 lighter strips, and you will need 96 2x9 lighter strips. Again, I'm using white. So the yardage that you will need is you're going to need 3/8 of a yard for your 2x4 strips. And you'll need half a yard of the darker fabric for your 2x6 inch strips. So I just purchased a yard and that cut them all. So I will show you what I have here. These are the darker strips. And these are the 2x4s. And these are the 2x6s. Okay. Next, what we're going to do, and I am using my AccuQuilt for this, so you can either use an AccuQuilt strip cutter for this, or you can use, you can just cut it with your rotary cutter, because I know not everybody has an AccuQuilt. So, but I wanted to let you know that you can use your AccuQuilt strip cutter for that. I'm using the 2.5 inch die, 2-inch die. Oh my. The 2-inch, and it finishes at 1.5. I couldn't think there for a moment. Then I needed 3/8 inch for 3/8 of a yard for the 2x2 lighter squares. 5/8 of a yard in the lighter color for my 2x7 strips, and 1.25 yards of the lighter for 2x9 inch strips. So I ended up purchasing 3 yards. So I purchased a little bit more because we are going to be needing to do a border on the left hand side in our lighter color, and also on the bottom once we're finished. So that is why I have the 3 inches in there. So you will end up with leftover fabric, and that is a good thing. Now, I don't mind if you're just pulling from the stash that you already have. Actually, I highly recommend that because it helps you to use up what you've already got. But if you're looking to, you know, use different yardage, then that's how much you're going to need to purchase. So 1 yard of dark and 3 yards of the light. All right, so make sure you check out the website, craftyauthor.com. I have all of the measurements and all of the yardage that you're going to need. It's very important that you check there because I did have to alter the measurements for the 2x9 strips and how much yardage you're going to need for that. So here's what we're going to do. You're going to need to grab your little squares, all 48 of them, and we are going to get started. I am using this really cool white grunge polka dot Moda fabric, and I am also using black Moda fabric. And so I'm going to start with my smallest piece first. So there's my scrap 4 patch. I'm going to grab one of my 2x4 inch darker fabrics and one of my 2x2 lighter squared fabrics, and I am going to sew right sides together the white square onto the black square. Now you'll need to probably chain piece these because you're going to be making an awful lot of them. But I just want to show you, just for demonstration purposes, what we're going to do here. So we're going to finger press this to the dark side. Actually, I'm doing it to the lighter side. I don't know why I did that. You want to press it to the darker side. Okay, and you don't want to stretch the fabric when you're finger piecing, so just press it down. It'll be fine. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take one of our longer black pieces and another 2x2 square like that, and we're going to do them right sides facing down, and we're going to stitch that onto the edge. Okay, done with that one. Again, we're gonna finger press to our dark side, just like that. Okay, so now you should have something that looks like this. Okay, all right, moving right along. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our square and we are going to put the short side on first. And it doesn't matter what side you put it on. It's going to depend on what design you have going, but you want to make sure that your white piece lines up with your top piece or your top edge. Okay, so you're going to have a little bit of leftover on your black piece, and that's okay. And then once you put that on there, now you can pin this or you can clip it. I'm not going to do that. We're just going to put this underneath the foot, and I'm just going to start stitching. I'm going to use a 1/4 inch. I always use a 1/4 inch, by the way, for quilting projects. Okay, and now we have our first piece attached like that, and we can finger press that open. And I'm just pressing it outward. Now you can trim this off if you want to already. I'm going to leave it there for right now, and then I'm going to take my other black piece, my black and white piece, and I'm going to line this little white corner up with the edge down here. So just get it all lined up nice and even, and I can tell them off just a little bit. Okay, and I'm just gonna start sewing that on. Again, I'm just gonna finger press this out, and now I'm gonna take this to my iron and I'm going to press it. I have my scissors and I'm going to go ahead and trim this excess off right here on the inside. Like I said, you can do this when you're sewing it or you can do it afterwards. It doesn't matter. It's just a preference of when you want to do it. Sometimes it is easier to do it when you're in the process of sewing. So I'm just gonna fold that and then line myself up here and move my scissors through if I can get them through there. Okay, I'm gonna set that aside, and now I've pressed that out, and you should have something that looks like this. We're gonna move along. I'm gonna set the black strips aside now and the white squares. And now you're gonna need your longer strips. You're gonna need your 2x7, your 2x7 lighter color, and also your 2x9 lighter color. And what I'm going to do next is I am going to put my shorter piece, my 2x6 piece, up at the top. So whatever your top is, you need to figure that out. I'm just kind of randomly placing mine because I'm not really worried because it's a scrap quilt. But if you have a directional fabric, you're going to want to pay attention to that. Okay, I'm going to trim this edge here. And I'm going to finger press. And then I'm going to take my 2x9 piece and I'm going to put it right here, down here. So opposite of where we put that black border or the dark border or whatever color border you're using, but it should be a darker fabric. So I'm going to put that on here. Okay, and we're just going to start stitching it on. Okay. All right. I'm going to finger press that. And then I'm going to take this to the iron and give it a good pressing. All right. So that is what we're doing for this week. So this is what we have now. Make sure I'm going to show it to you correctly. So you should have basically the whole square bordered, except for really basically, well, the whole square is bordered. So this is what you should have for right now. So you're going to want to do this on all 48 of your squares. And so that is what we've got going right now. So I decided to go with the darker and the light. I thought it looked a lot better. I played with this a little bit just to see how things would turn out. And this is how I liked it best. So get those all sewn together. Like I said, it's going to be easier to chain piece these pieces together first, then attach them. Then I would work on maybe chain piecing again on here. It might just make your life easier. It'll go a lot faster. This actually does go pretty fast. So, you know, not a big deal. I did have to change the measurement for the 2x9 inch strips. You're going to need 1 3/4 yards of fabric for that. So originally I thought it was going to be 1 1/4, but it just didn't cut it no matter how I tried to work it. So 1 3/4. And if you have leftovers, then that's great. But I want to err on the side of caution and make sure that you have enough to get the amount of strips that you do need. Okay. So that is it for today. Don't forget to subscribe. There's a little button down in the corner where you can subscribe, or you can wait till the end of this video and click on the little subscribe button, or you can just go to my channel and do that. If you subscribe, you will get notified each and every time that I upload a new video. And you can choose how often you want to be reminded. But I don't want you to miss out on any of the cool things that we do here. So make sure that you're a subscriber. If you would like to share this video, that would be awesome because sharing is caring. And don't forget to give us a thumbs up because it helps the video to get seen and more people get to make these cool projects. So if you'd like to follow me on social media, I also have those links down in the description box down below this video. If you click this little arrow that's down there, it'll open up a description box and you'll see everything in there that you need to know. I will also put the link to my website down there. I will also put it in the iCard. That way you can follow along on the scrap quilt. And also I will have all of the measurements and yardage in there. And keep on crafting. That is it for me today. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.